But something else I think we should also talk about is like the hidden gaps in understanding when there's fast answers. So I remember you mentioned like students will sometimes just be followers and one kid gets the question but not everyone else. But when those other students that don't get the answer, maybe they just needed that deeper understanding instead of like the faster thinking, right? They need thoughtful reasoning. So what's something you have to say about this?
This is kind of like a two-part thing. So first, like I think some kids simply just need a little bit longer to process. I think about playing like any of those card games where it's like like a fill in the blank card game and the whole group has to like whoever yells out the answer first wins. Like that's honestly how teaching math in a group setting can go sometimes. It's like they're fighting to be the first one to answer it, whether they're right or not. They just want to say something so that they're first. And some kids just simply need more processing time. And that kid that yelled out the answer first, they might be wrong, but they were so determined to be first that they didn't even listen to the whole question. They wanted to be the right one, the first one. They wanted to get it. And so slowing that down where they're not competing, they're not racing, can help with processing. Because there may not have been a gap in knowledge at all. It just may have been purely the social pressure of wanting to be first. Second part
Yeah.
of that is, I am a big believer, especially with math. Um, I don't ask for the answer. Because asking for the answer is skipping the whole learning process that will tell me what they don't understand. I'll be honest, I hated as a kid being asked to show my work in math class because I was always one of those people that like, I don't know how I got there, but I always got the answer. And I just couldn't figure out how I got there. But somewhere in my brain, I was doing the math and then I was just spitting out the answer and I would always lose points because I didn't show my work.
Oh, I
And
see.
now I understand why my teachers were always like, show your work, because they didn't know how I was getting the answer. And half the time, I probably was just lucky, because
Right.
I had no clue how I got there, but I did. And so with, let's say, for example, one of the kids I was working with at my school recently, where she was really struggling was word problems because
Mm,
reading was already a bit of a struggle, and now pulling out the pieces of this story to figure out what the equation even is was really overwhelming for her.
I
So
see.
instead of just being like, here's the word problem, what's the answer? It was, okay, let's start by underlining any of the numbers in the story just to highlight them.
Yeah.
Then we go through and we highlighted all of the words like more or less or take away or give, anything like that. That would give us a clue as to like what kind of equation we were doing. Once we had all of that information like picked out of the story, then we tried to actually write out the equation and then do the math from there. And
I
that's
see.
where I could figure out that it was actually the language piece that was tripping her up more than the math piece. She just didn't have the reading comprehension skills to pull the equation from the story. Where her mom just kept being like, she's struggling with math, she's struggling with math. I don't get it. She used to be good at math and now they're on word problems and she's failing. Well, she's good at math. She doesn't have the reading comprehension skills. So I think that's where the process comes in, to really help the educator as well.
I see.